Brought to you by Mr. Pros TV, streaming from Tempe, Arizona. And we're live in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hey guys, Jordan Nielsen here, host of Real Estate Pros on Mr. Pros TV. And today we are in our Tucson studio with Ali Ozer. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Ali Ozer, Coldwell banker. And awesome. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day
My
and
pleasure.
joining me on Real Estate Pros.
I'm excited to be here. Thanks
Awesome.
for having me.
Yeah. So we'll give you a couple minutes to introduce yourself. Because I find it interesting, how people kind of get into real estate. A lot of people may, oh, it's easy money. And then they get in and they are confused about that, or they're passionate. There's a lot of different stories. So I always ask the guests, how, give us a little bit of background on yourself and how you made your way into real estate.
Well, I've always been curious about real estate, and I thought, I got into it 10 years ago.
Okay.
And it was right at the beginning of the downturn.
Nice. Perfect timing.
There was like 3 people in the real estate class, and I was nervous. It was a terrible time in the economy, and I wasn't one of those people that saw it on TV and I really wanted to be a part of it.
Right.
I genuinely thought this was a very entrepreneurial industry to get into, and something that I could bring whatever I learned in business before and put it to good use, and worked out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's in a nutshell.
So how long have you been in real estate now? Oh, you said 8 years?
10 years.
Or 10 years.
10 years this year.
Oh, 8 was like a scary time in the economy, because I remember
Yeah.
I was working at a bank and they were, it was like bad times,
Yeah.
So
everybody I run into, I'm sorry to interrupt, everybody
Yeah.
I run into that's in real estate, for the most part, was something else before 2008. It's just like we all sort of started this community after this apocalyptic time in the industry, and now we're all sort of weathered from it and getting better.
Yeah. So obviously your business has likely changed from 2008 to 2018. So what were those things that you did early in your career to be able to get to that point? Because we know it takes 6 months, a year, 18 months sometimes to develop a business that's sustainable, so that you can eat something other than top ramen, right?
If you're lucky.
Yeah.
Right. Top ramen sounds pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I like to tell everybody that I work with and hire on that my first year I made $7,000, and that was working hard. I had no real direction at that time. I cleaned pools.
Wow.
The foreclosure industry was big, so I was doing whatever I could to just stay in the industry and hold on to the point where I could start to build my practice. So that was all of 2008 and 9. And eventually I started to see that pipeline begin to blossom and things start to come to fruition, and was incorporating more of the things that I had, because now I had a stable footing of at least some income,
Right.
some clients, and working for a great company. So that once I got through that, I was much better for it.
Right. So have you always been with Coldwell Banker then?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, I worked for 4 or 5 years with Zip Realty, and that really helped me get clients because they supplied some leads.
Right.
And then when they were purchased by Coldwell Banker, I got back to Coldwell Banker, which is where I started when I first joined real estate.
So Coldwell Banker. So why did you ultimately decide to join and stay with Coldwell Banker? Because here in Phoenix we have hundreds of different options. I always find it curious as to why people choose the brokers that they choose.
That's a good question. Partly, it was sort of a security feeling.
Right.
So I spent a good part of my earlier career with Hyatt Hotels, which is one of the top hotels. It's sort of a blue chip type company. And I thought, well, I'll just go find another blue chip type company and take my career there and see where it goes. The reality is, everybody tells you in real estate school, go out and interview a bunch of brokers. But when you leave real estate school, you don't know what to ask.
Right.
So I tried that for about a week and really didn't know what I was being told and how to process it. So I thought, well, I know Coldwell Banker, and they're a good company, so let me just go there.
Yeah.
And I mean, it was that simple, but in a way I got tremendously lucky because they had an incredibly ethical company. They train you like, I just can't believe how much education goes into continuing education after you start. And then the support. I mean, they're just very, and other companies are too, but they just have a complete package for me that I just felt like, wow, I really belong. I'm part of them, and they're a part of me. And that's a good feeling. And
Coldwell Banker's a very reputable company. It's a recognizable brand, something that's been out there for a while.
Yeah. So 120 years or something.
Yeah,
so
a long time.
It's the number one real estate company in the world. Their technology, not just my opinion, but they are number one in all forms of technology. And buying Zip Realty was one of those strategies that they had, because Zip Realty's client management software and their lead generation software was second to none. And without that facet, they couldn't really take their business to the next level.
Right.
So that was 4 years ago. So I've been with Coldwell Banker since then, and I'm thrilled. I'll have my 200th sale this year.
And is Coldwell Banker's part of Realogy or something
Correct,
like
yeah.
that? So they have, it's a huge.
Huge. Russ Lyon Sotheby's, Better Homes and Gardens, Century 21.
Yeah.
I know I'm going to miss a couple.
You can stop there because those are some big names there.
Yeah, they're the largest real estate holding company in the world.
Nice. So 10 years into your real estate career, what is your focuses and the big drivers of your business here in 2018?
Right now, it's we've really stepped up in luxury more than we had in the first part of my career, and that's mostly because about 3 years ago I decided to go after that, and I also started to network within groups where I was meeting developers, meeting people who were interested in taking their real estate interactions to a different level. And they weren't being taken seriously in some cases. They didn't know how to connect with the right people. And in my case, I got extremely lucky, right time, right place, with some really great people. And those relationships have blossomed. So this year we've got 2 luxury new builds.
Nice.
A lot of younger investors, millennials, believe it or not, they're saying they're not buying, but they're very serious about real estate, I've found. And they're looking at taking whatever money they can and putting it into some kind of an investment in real estate, which is super exciting. And it gives me that feeling that, wow, there's hope for the future. People complain about millennials. I don't see it.
They want to eat $100 plate food. That's what people say. They like, they'll splurge on these little foods, and then they'll live on a couch. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, me and my cat on the couch. So there's that. Those are big for me in 2008, and we put together a group 3 months ago.
Oh, cool.
So we've got 2 people joining the group in addition to the 3 of us that are in the group now. So focusing on that and taking the business to the business level, not just servicing real estate, but actually being able to do more. Right. I mean, you're in the same position. You start out with something, you do it really well, and you add people to the team and start to offer more, and then you become indispensable, and that's where I want to be.
Absolutely. So do you guys rely heavily on like internet leads, or just working your sphere of influence? What are those, or open houses? What are those big things that you guys do to drive, or is it all of the above?
It was all of the above, because I thought for sure I've got to boost ads and do other Facebook ads and get in the newspaper and send out cards. And when we analyzed our business before starting 2008, we looked at everything and really analyzed the numbers, and it was, all of our leads were coming from personal interaction. They weren't coming from the internet. Yeah, people may say, "Oh, I saw your ad," or "I saw you in the paper," or "I saw this," or that's all really well and good, but there's no listing agreement attached to that.
Exactly.
There's no sale of a house attached to it at this point. It could come.
Sure.
But it's more interesting, more cost effective, and I think more fulfilling for me to have that personal interaction where, people want to work with me.
Right.
And that, I want to feel good in what I do. And that is one of the things that really makes me feel good about what I do, is that there's people that on their second, third, fourth home that they're buying with me, it's not even a question. We'll have a conversation and they'll strategize months before they ever start to really take it to that serious step. And they're including me in that because they like me, or they like the opinions that I have, or the strategies that I come up with. And that's super fulfilling.
Absolutely. And there's got to be a reason why, because with 40,000 or however many agents and however many new agents are getting their license every single week or month here in Arizona, why do your clients and people ultimately choose to have you represent them as a buyer or seller versus their mom's friend, or that agent down the street? What's the value
proposition I think that I offer is, I have one of my clients has a real estate license. He has 3 or 4 very good friends that have real estate licenses, and they're actively selling residential real estate. But I was the only one to approach him to say, I want to sell that property. And we clicked both, personally.
And he had a real estate license?
He had a real estate license. He's a commercial land guy. Nice. And he's a great guy.
That's outside of my expertise.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So I offered him a strategy. We made a deal, and we're on our 3rd property. But that's just one facet of it, I think, that I offer. But I think I'm a nice guy.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I'm a nice guy.
I'm told I'm a nice guy now.
I've been told I'm a nice guy, and I enjoy what I do. And the 25 years in the hotel business, I really enjoy exceeding people's expectations in what they experience with me. And that came before the hotel industry. The hotel industry was just an outlet for that.
Sure.
And now I've incorporated that into real estate, because I don't think that that's really out there in real estate. It is a turn and burn and paper, drive around, put up signs, all that kind of stuff that goes along with real estate, but that making people feel awesome about it and just being good to them, We've got a $3 million client and a $200,000 client going on exactly at the same time. They're both getting the same level of care. They're not going to get the same things for their listing. That's no question about it. But they're treated the same. That they're valued by me. We get along great. I could be social with them outside of the work environment, and I think because they like and trust me, everything else sort of falls into place.
Sure. And having that background in the hotel, I wouldn't discount that, because, having that culture. Did you say you worked at Hyatt? Was it Hyatt?
Yeah.
They have a high level of standard of service, and having experienced that for several years or however long you were there, and it's kind of ingrained in you, and you kind of apply that to your real estate career.
Yeah.
And definitely, I can see how that definitely helps people gravitate to wanting to use you.
Yeah.
Versus somebody that's just, I'm gonna go get my license.
Yeah, and you have to take care of the operational aspects. So like Lister Pro's operation heavy, right? I mean, you've got lots of moving parts. Hotels, lots of moving parts. Real estate also has lots of moving parts. They may not be big, but there are a lot of moving parts to it. And if you're disciplined enough to have those parts put together and have systems in place, then your business is going to run more smoothly. And when your business runs smoothly, you can spend more time being a nice guy.
Right. There we go.
That's the theme.
There it is. Be the nice guy. All right, Ali. So if somebody watching this is interested in maybe asking you more questions, or a real estate agent, I know you're looking to grow your group a little bit this year. or a buyer or seller looking to
reach out to us.
Yeah, how do people reach out to you? What's the best way?
Phone, text, email. I do it all. Don't leave me a voicemail.
Text.
Tons of text. You wouldn't believe the wide scope of age
Are you
groups.
the one with the full voicemail? No, I'm just kidding.
I have been before.
Yeah.
But I hate that. So I just like send me a text, say, can you call me? I'll pick up the phone and call you, and we'll have a conversation, and then we'll get the ball rolling.
Sweet. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for
Thank
joining
you.
me this
Enjoyed
afternoon
it.
on Real Estate Pros.
I want to come back.
We'll have you come back and we'll talk about something else. Absolutely. So thank you, Ollie.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure, and we will see you guys on the next episode.